Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we dig up the historical tidbits your teachers forgot to mention. Get ready, because some of these are going to blow your mind and completely change how you see the past. Let's start with a real timeline twister. When you think of ancient Egypt, you probably picture pyramids, pharaohs, and of course, Cleopatra. But what if I told you that Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, lived closer in time to the invention of the iPhone than to the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza? It's true. The Great Pyramid was completed around 2560 BC, while Cleopatra lived until 30 BC. The first iPhone was released in 2007. That means there's about a 2,500-year gap between the pyramid and Cleopatra, but only about a 2,000-year gap between her and Steve Jobs unveiling that first smartphone. It just shows how incredibly long the ancient Egyptian civilization actually lasted. It wasn't just one single, static period. It was a sprawling, epic saga stretching across millennia. Now let's switch gears from long timelines to incredibly short ones. Have you ever heard of the Anglo-Zanzibar War? If you blinked, you might have missed it. This conflict, which took place on August 27, 1896, holds the record for the shortest war in history. How short? A mere 38 minutes. It was fought between the United Kingdom and the Sultanate of Zanzibar. The conflict erupted after the pro-British Sultan died and his cousin took power without British approval. The British issued an ultimatum, which was ignored. So, at 9:02 a.m., the Royal Navy began a bombardment of the Sultan's palace. By 9:40 a.m., the palace was in ruins, the Sultan's flag was down, and the war was over. In less time than it takes to watch a sitcom, an entire war was fought and won. Speaking of Britain, let's talk about one of the weirdest taxes ever conceived, the window tax. In 1696, England introduced a tax based on the number of windows a house had. The logic was that wealthier people lived in larger houses with more windows, so it was a sneaky way to tax income without actually calling it an income tax. But people are clever, and they found a way around it. What did they do? They started bricking up their windows to avoid the tax. You can still see old buildings in the UK today with bricked-up window spaces, a ghostly reminder of this bizarre law. It had a serious public health consequence, though, as it led to darker, poorly ventilated homes, which wasn't great for people's health. The tax was finally repealed in 1851, after being described as a tax on light and air. Ready for another one? Let's travel to ancient Rome. We think of them as master engineers and conquerors, but they also had some unique hygiene practices. For instance, public restrooms were a big social hub. People would sit on long stone benches with holes, right next to each other, and just chat while doing their business. And to clean up, they used something called a tersorium, which was basically a sponge on a stick. The kicker? It was communal. Everyone used the same sponge stick, which was just rinsed in a bucket of salt water or vinegar between uses. It's a far cry from our modern-day toilet paper, that's for sure. And here's a story that sounds like it came straight out of a movie. During World War II, a Great Dane named Juliana was awarded the Blue Cross Medal. Why? She saved her owners by extinguishing an incendiary bomb. A bomb fell on their house, and Juliana, in a moment of either incredible bravery or confusion, walked over to it and, well, she peed on it. Her urine diffused the bomb and saved the day. It's an incredible story of how even our furry friends can become unlikely heroes in the most dire of circumstances. Finally, let's talk about the Vikings. We always picture them with those big, horned helmets, right? The iconic image of a fierce warrior ready for battle. Well, that's completely wrong. There is zero archaeological evidence that Vikings ever wore horned helmets. In fact, wearing them in battle would have been incredibly impractical. An enemy could easily grab the horns and yank your helmet off. This popular image actually comes from a 19th century opera by Richard Wagner, where the costume designer decided to add horns to the Vikings' helmets to make them look more dramatic and ferocious for the stage. The look just stuck, and now it's a historical myth that refuses to go away. From timelines that don't make sense to heroic dogs and tax-dodging windows, history is so much stranger and more fascinating than what we learned in school. There are countless stories like these, hidden just beneath the surface, waiting to be rediscovered. If you enjoyed journeying back in time with me and want to uncover more forgotten history, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.